On metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
With your AM 950 weather, this is Adam. Tonight, clear skies, a low of 30. For tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, a high near 50 degrees. Crooner Supper Club has an exciting mix of shows all year long. Find the concert experience that's right for you at croonersmn.com. And you don't need a ticket to enjoy a great atmosphere of Maggie's. Crooner Supper Club, a little piece of old school nightlife in the 21st century.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you for joining us. It is indeed Casual Friday here on GhostBox Radio. That means that we can talk about whatever we want to tonight. And at least for the first segment or so, we're going to start with something just a little bit special, at least to me. And I think as a paranormal community that we like to talk about personal moments of paranormal or spirit or whatever you want to call it, reaching out. I want to share that tonight. Before we get too far into it, I want to say hello to Adam in Eden Prairie. How's your Friday going for you?
Going well. It always ends well every Friday right here at 10 o'clock with us. So I am very thankful to have made it to 10 o'clock with all my faculty still in check after dealing with stuff today.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest here, and I mentioned this to you before we got things going here, is that I went out for dinner tonight with a friend, which actually plays into what we're going to be talking about here in a second. And I had 2 beers, and because of my, growing age here, these 2 beers felt like 2 cases of beer, in the sense of, I get home and I just crawl on the couch and set the alarm and wake up, about a half an hour before we're starting here. And I'm just like, where am I? So, I mean, that was about, 30 minutes of like realigning with the earth. But no, I think things are good. But Adam, I got some stuff I want to share tonight. I'm really excited because over the past couple of weeks, something has been going on, and listen, the passing of my cat Linus was a big deal for me, Okay, there's no two ways that I can get around with having yet another episode talking about Linus, and his passing had a great effect on me. I was at Ghost Stories and Beyond on Wednesday, and we had Deb on, and Deb does readings of pets past, and a woman in the audience, I mentioned this, and she's just like, I want to call in and ask about my dog that passed away, and she couldn't get through without crying. And that's the reality, that as much as people are like, oh, they're just pets or whatever, and that's nothing that I've ever held to. There's so much more than that to me. She just became uncontrollable because she wanted to check in about her dog, and of course she didn't call in. That's kind of how that always goes. But I'm just like, you want to kind of go in these ways of kind of knowing that they're okay, knowing that they haven't left you. I think that's even a bigger part, Adam. And so something happened a couple weeks ago, and it's led up to even now. Some of it we'll get to in a second, but it started. Remember when we had Deb on, and we were finishing up one question readings, and I just said to her, as instead of getting the callers on the air, I said, what about Linus? What's going on with Linus? And I will never forget the pause, and she's just like, oh, he loves you. There's just that, like, it was just a overwhelming sort of like, you don't even get it, Greg, how much, that's what it felt like. Then we had a show on Thursday. Friday, you and I did a show, and a couple friends of mine, Justin Wenzel, who's going to be on the show next week, is Storm Chaser. His wife, I knew his wife, Amy, because, and Amy was on the phone too. They called me after the show. Amy was the original owner of Linus, and she had called, and they called, and we started talking about Linus, and she broke down when I told her that I was holding him when he passed. I guess she didn't think I was that kind of maybe pet parent or something, but she had said to me, she goes, you were meant for him. You were always going, that you were his best parent. Which was
you were his human,
yes, and that meant a lot. And see my guest nodding yes in the window. I can see it. So that we had Wednesday, Friday, then Sunday. Psychic medium Rob Guttrow sends me this email that is absolutely out of nowhere. And to get going on that, I'm welcoming on with us right now Rob Guttrow, author, medium. We played one of your episodes last night as part of the replay. Rob, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. Good to see you, Greg. Thank you.
Good to see you too. And I don't know if you've ever been on when Adam has been running the board or anything, but if not, that's Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Hello, Greg.
His name is Rob, actually.
Hello, Rob. Hello, everyone.
Adam is done for the week. He's
I still got to work tomorrow, and I've already checked out. Wow.
That's Adam. Pretty much burnt out running my show. So, Rob, I don't know what's the best way to go about this. Do you want to explain? Do you want to let everyone know kind of how we got to the point of me getting an email from you?
Sure. So, for those folks who don't know me, I'm a medium and an author of 12 books, and one of my series is Pets in the Afterlife, where I teach people how pets communicate from the other side. And I knew that Linus had passed in December, and I know there's a grieving time, and sometimes it's really hard to get messages, especially when you're grieving, because grief blocks messages from spirit. Grief is a negative emotional energy, and spirits are positive emotional energy. So I had been meaning to connect to Linus, but I needed to know when the time was right. Well, I happened to be on vacation, on March 23rd. I was in Kentucky. I was in my hotel room. I just got in from meeting some old friends I hadn't seen in a quarter century. And as soon as I came in, suddenly I heard Linus, and he told me that I need to sit down and type out his messages to you on email.
Wow.
And that's how it happened. So, here I was walking into a hotel room on a vacation, and Linus comes jumping in and telling me what to say to you.
Wow. I mean, and so we have talked a number of times on the program with you, Rob, and you had talked about that you get messages from pets and you help people, but generally, if someone would like a reading, a pet reading, that's quite a long way out, because you put a certain amount of time to it every week, and you're booked out, if I'm not mistaken, for that, right?
Yeah, I'm actually booking in May 2026, but I do make some exceptions for like rush readings, and people can
Mhm.
contact me with that too.
So the fact that Linus, and I mean, it sounds very similar to how he always wanted to be fed and kind of gets in your way and doesn't let you forget. It just sounds, it just there's something about that, and I mean, to me, that's just so beautiful that he just, I mean, he's been watching me. He's been, I could feel it, and how this all came about is that I had reached out to Rob. I've been meaning to do so since he sent me the note. We went back and forth a little bit since the note, but I wanted to ask Rob if it was okay if I read what he got from Linus, the messages he got from Linus, because I didn't want to. I didn't want to cross a line, and if they were just for me, then that was totally understandable. I didn't want to read anything without permissions, and you said that you thought that was going to be okay.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I encourage people to read whatever readings I give to them to others, so that they'll understand how pets communicate. And I think it's I'm actually honored that you want to read the reading. It means a lot to me.
And I am honored that he went to you, and I'm honored that you took the time, because I will read this here in a minute, and it's a good chunk. I mean, Linus had a lot to say.
He did.
and it's just amazing. And since then, before we read it, I want to let you know, Rob, this week in particular, I got home from work, and I was in there was no lights on in my house. It was the sun hasn't set, but it was a overcast day, so it was a little bit darker. And I was putting looking at the mail that was on the counter, and I look over, and I got startled, because from around the corner came a shadow with four legs, and just immediately it just really took me aback, because I just wasn't expecting it. And I knew who it was right away, obviously. I mean, I've seen that so many times when Linus was here with me as a physical animal, that I've seen that before, but to see it and so well defined was incredible. But then when I went out for dinner tonight, Robert, who rents out my basement and has been here for nearly 20 years, he's had a lot of experiences, especially with Linus. Coming up the stairs and knowing what Linus does if Robert comes up the stairs. There's a door that separates us, so opening the door would set Linus off, in the sense of he would run away, and he would his nails. When the cats run, their nails are on the linoleum, and you can hear like that, like running scratch as they try to get away. And Robert, he told me tonight, he's like, I've been hearing that when I come up the stairs to do laundry, that's happening. And I was just like, wow. And he's like, I can hear him upstairs, because he knows that because of the show, and when I start over at the station every day, it's much later, but he's hearing stuff upstairs at 8 a.m. And he's hearing like the walking of an animal upstairs and whatnot. So Linus is making himself very known. And that is something that I mean, I couldn't be more touched. I couldn't be more appreciative of you, Rob, and of Linus, because what it's doing, it's really just telling me, that everyone is like, he loved you, everything. Everyone is saying exactly the same thing, and I really hope that everybody who loses a loved one gets the same gift that I am getting right now of someone that that you're getting that, because we do know this. We understand this. We know that our parents loved us. We know that our dog loved us, but to get that back, that love is going beyond the veil is incredible to me.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is there something significant about this time of year in terms of Linus between March and April? Because he's coming through to two people not connected to him for some reason.
That's well, and funny enough, that's what Robert asked me today. He's just kind of like, is there something that Linus wants that he's connecting, that he's like reaching out so much? Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. I mean, I got Linus in July of 2017. So I mean, it's not there. I mean, the thing about Linus is that I had said no to him, like to having him kind of adopting him, only because out of respect for my older cat AJ, who I didn't want to cause like a whole lot of grief for her. But the pull between Linus and myself was so strong that I couldn't deny him anymore. I didn't want to like have more time go on without him in my life. So just as a quick aside, the day I went to get Linus, I was driving, and I felt my previous cat Dave, who was also a ragdoll. He when I made the decision to get Linus, I could feel like going up the stairs, then someone tugging at my sock going up the stairs, and I just like, Dave. And I just always thought, Dave, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. I'll never forget about you. And the day that I went to get Linus, I'm driving down the road, and there is a truck that is the side of it is facing me as I'm driving on it, and in big letters it says Davy on it. And I just am like, I told you, Dave, I'm not going to forget about you. And someone else said to me, that might not be him wanting to let you know that, afraid that you're going to forget about him, but maybe just to let you know that he got you in line with Linus, which I never thought of. So,
yeah, because our pets will lead us to the next pet we're supposed to adopt.
Yeah. And so I thought, oh, well, maybe that's what it is. Rob, can you stick around with us a little bit?
Sure.
Why don't we do this? I want to take a break. When we come back, I want to read through what Rob had sent me, that Linus, the messages that Linus had given him. Any thoughts or anything that you all want to talk about, put it in the comments. If anyone calls in with any kind of questions, I don't mean doing readings, by the way. I mean just any general questions. Would you take them, Rob?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you want to call in and say hi to Rob, it's 952-946-6205. It's Casual Friday here. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination.
Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And this is Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us as we end the week of a very special Linus Heavy edition of GhostBox Radio tonight. And I appreciate you all indulging me to kind of share these experiences because, first of all, I really think it's important for those, especially, I almost want to say even more so than losing loved ones like family members and human people, that the reminder that our pets are, so important to us that they are there. They don't stop thinking of us. They still keep their eye on us. And I've been very blessed over the last couple weeks with this. And I have with Adam and Eden Prairie, I have author and medium Rob Guttrow with us, who really sent me this absolutely wonderful piece I want to read here in a second. Rob, I'm just curious. So when Linus came to you, how does that manifest? Do you see him? Do you hear him? What's that feel like?
Well, it's different for every spirit. They come different ways. But basically Linus jumped on the bed and I could sense him there, and he was sitting beside me, and he was very persistent that I needed to actually sit and write that email. I was actually going to just go in my room and go to bed. And I said,
no, you're not.
Nope. I need to put this in writing.
Do you hear his voice? Like, I'm just curious what he sounds like. Yeah.
So, because our pets learn, our language, and they learn our emotions.
Yeah.
They also get help from human spirits, to convey images and emotions and words. So when he reached out to me and when he was trying to tell me about how your voice was always calming for him, mm-hmm. he made a wave of peace come over me. Wow. And right after he said your voice, and that made me understand what he was trying to convey.
That's incredible. And I'm just glad that he didn't try to get a hold of you the way he tries to get my attention, which would be trying to trip me down the stairs. But that's he's being nice to you. It's just kidding. I'm not kidding. He did used to try to trip me down the stairs, but I think there's a good reason for that. All right, Rob, should I go ahead and read this then and just see how far I get without making a fool of myself on radio by losing it?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
I was starting to read some of it to Robert, and I can feel my kind of voice kind of go off a little bit. But this is what Rob Guttrow had sent me on Sunday, March 23rd. And so he just writes March 23rd, 2025. Hello, Greg. Something I've been meaning to do for you since December was connecting with Linus, and Linus passed in December. Tonight, I got a sign from Linus that he wanted me to reach out to you. He wants to thank you for being the best parent ever. He says that he felt like he was your co-pilot, which I couldn't agree more. And he also felt like he was your good luck charm always. He said that whenever you were on the air, would sometimes come in your control area and sit either around your chair or in the corner of the room. He loved to listen to you talk to other people. He says your voice was always calming for him, and that was especially true when he first came to you. He says that when he first came to you, he had anxiety, but that lessened over time. He's making me feel like he had been with you for many years, since the time he was a kitten. He misses being in the physical, but he has given you a number of signs since he's passed, showing me strands of fur, which is so true again. So whenever he visited, he has left strands of fur in your house. You may have also noticed in as quick moving shadow out of the corner of your eye from time to time. It feels like he's an old soul. That means he has been here multiple times before, and he's very learned. Because he is an old soul, he has become a spirit guide to you from the other side. Sometimes when you're broadcasting, he joins you, and that's why the equipment may act up. He likes to sit on your desk or near your feet. He asked if I have Rob asked if I had a living cat in my house because he's showing me a living cat. Robert, actually downstairs, has 2 cats. We don't ever intermingle. We didn't intermingle them. Robert's very separate in the house, but Robert has 2 cats. He's telling me that he's appeared to a living cat to confirm that he's okay in spirit. By the way, Rob, Robert had said the exact same thing tonight, that one of his cats, Caddy, is been meowing more, and thought that perhaps Linus has been visiting him.
Yeah.
Or excuse me. Let's see here. He also is telling me about a picture. You have a portrait painted of him, or you're considering that. As it's funny, I did a bunch of AI pictures of him, and just last week I had, right before the day before you sent me this note, I had posted on Facebook an AI picture of him, because Linus always kind of had a look of being nonplussed, and those images came through very well, showing that. Also, if you have his ashes, it's okay to put his collar tag near them. He wants to remind you, though, that he's not really in there, just his ashes. He said that he is really around you in spirit. He's making me feel like he has disrupted your equipment more than once. He doesn't want to upset you when that happens. He just wants you to know that he's there. He's also giving me the angel number of 11, or 1. I think we talked about that before, that an angel number is representative from spirit, that they are present. So whenever you see 11, 111, or 1111, he's around you. Those numbers may also have another significance. It could be a birthday, as yours or someone else is connected to you, the time of day, month, year of his adoption, passing, birthday, etc. There are some reasons why he came to me this week. I'm actually on vacation, as you had mentioned, but I didn't expect to be doing a pet reading, but he was pretty adamant about connecting with you this week. So here we are. Be on the watch for some of his fur around the house, because that's the most obvious sign. And just know that he can, of course, hear you and see you, and the love that you both share will forever connect you. As Rob says in parting, I'm glad I was able to connect with Linus tonight. I hope this brings you some comfort. And Rob, I can't tell you how much comfort that brought.
Awesome.
Truly unbelievable. And it was an absolute surprise. But boy, that was, and the stuff that you'd said, there's so much of that has happened already since then. And that I didn't even read to Robert the part about if there's another cat in the house that Linus has made himself known to that cat. And that's what Robert had told me tonight, that he got. So the fur, there was one day that I have a back scratcher, and I remember picking up the back scratcher, and there was a big tuft of fur underneath it. and it wasn't there before.
Wow.
So yeah, no,
So
he
one of the follow-up things that, because you had after you wrote me back, you told me that you adopted him when he was not a kitten.
no.
So uh, so do you remember my response that
Yes. Let me get that here real fast, because that's important here. Just give me. So do you want me to read that?
Sure, yeah, because you said something about an injury.
Yes. So a couple things had happened. Like I had written back to Rob, and I explained to Rob about that phone call I had with Justin and Amy. And Amy had told me, which I didn't know before, that when she had Linus, he had escaped, and he was gone for like 5 days or something like that, and ended up with a vet. And Linus must have been like chipped or something, which I wasn't aware of, because a vet called Amy and had said that Linus had been like some kids or something were shooting BBs at Linus, and Linus actually took a BB. And that's news to me. I mean, it's like presumably in his ashes there's a BB, because they couldn't get it out of him. So I had mentioned this to Rob. That is funny that, not funny that you sent this, but I mean, it's timely. And so Rob wrote back, and it says, "I'm glad it came at a good time, and that, of course, not a coincidence. It was very interesting that he came to me while I was on vacation and urged me to write to you. Two things. First, the BB he didn't mention that, which would usually be odd, but because it was something you could immediately identify, that's the reason for not bringing it up. Secondly, he mentioned that he felt like he was with you since he was a kitten. Obviously, he wasn't, since you mentioned he came from another person. What that means to me is that he lived his best part of his life with you, not to slight the original parent, because he had the best connection with you." And then I mentioned to Rob that I have his ashes actually on the headboard behind my bed. So Rob writes, "I'm glad you have his ashes near you too. That makes sense why he brought them up." And then Rob finishes by saying, "Keep watch for strands of his fur and electrical disturbances." So, yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's just huge. So I just, Rob, I can't thank you enough for reaching out, especially when you were on vacation, you were away. But no, that is kind of how Linus operates. It doesn't matter what you have going on. He's going to want to get his point out. He is persistent. He was always a very persistent little guy, and that's why we loved him. That's why he's so special to me. That you know, when people say, "Oh, your pet Linus," he's not a pet.
No.
It's so beyond that, and it's hard for people. It's not hard for everybody, but it's hard for some people to understand that. I think.
Yeah, they're children. I mean, you and I talked about this before. Is that we raise them the same exact way we raise human children.
Yeah.
We teach them language. We teach them to play well with others. We take them to school. We teach them how to go to the bathroom. We take them to the doctor. They know when dinner time is. Same exact thing that we do for human children. So they're kids. They're children, and that's why we actually grieve more for a pet, because we are solely responsible for them than we do for people. And I can be honest with you, I have grieved much more deeply for my pets than for a number of people that have passed away, because I wasn't responsible for them.
No, and it's what a pet does is you can't really even put into words. The greatest the greatest comment I've heard, and I had looked this up when Linus was dying, that I wanted to post on Facebook, was the famous saying that "You were my favorite hello and my hardest goodbye."
Mm-hmm.
And it's there's something about that, and I didn't grieve as much for my parents passing. It's not because I'm a monster. It's because I could talk to them through it. I can talk to my mom when she's dying, get an idea. You know, with Linus and my other cats, you don't know what they're feeling and whatever else. But when Linus was dying, and there was 3 days, and I didn't take him to a vet because I kind of knew where this was going, and I didn't want he wasn't suffering, and so I didn't want to. I wanted him to transition in peace. And there was a point that he is laying on the ground. He is not he's not with it. He's, and I just lay next to him on my hand there, and he moves his paw and he puts it on top of my hand. And it's like, to me, that was like, well, that just goes to show, like, that relationship that we had, that we got each other, we understood. And suddenly, next thing I know is he's trying to help me through this more than me trying to help him through this. And I moved him. Those 3 days, for a cat that couldn't really walk anymore, he was upstairs, he was behind the bed, he was behind the sofa. He just kept moving around. And I had finally pulled out the couch, because I'm like, you're not going to just, you're not going to pass behind a couch. I'm sorry, I don't care. And I pull him out and I put him down about 2 hours before he passes. And he looks at me and he gives me this long, upset meow, just like, it's long. And it's just like, and I knew it was like, he doesn't want me to see him this way. He's ready to go. And I'm just like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you just go behind a couch. I need to be there with you. I need you there. I need to be near you. And, that was just kind of, once again, another example of that, all these years of relationship has culminated into this moment of both of us trying to take care of each other.
Yep,
it's incredible.
That's how it works. I wanted to share something with you. Recently, I did a reading for a female dog who shared an amazing message to me. It astounds me all the time when pets will come up with these totally incredible, deep messages. And this particular dog said to me, "Sometimes love hurts when we can't stay, but that's how you know it's love."
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have said so many times, Rob, that I think the most unfair thing in the universe is the difference in the length of a life cycle between a human and an animal. That we what would I wouldn't give to have a 50-year-old Linus opposed to a 15-year-old Linus. You know what I mean? It's just not how it works, though.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is that if they lived a very long time and they outlived us, we would be much more concerned about them.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and that can happen in a short lifetime too, and that's why, like, my mom, when she was about a year and a half before she passes, she's thinking about getting a kitten. And who am I to tell someone not to get a kitten? But in the back of my mind, I'm just, I hate to say it, I'm playing the numbers games here. And it's just like, is this, to myself, I'm thinking, is this the best, is this the best choice? I mean, I get it. And I had actually asked her, I said, would you ever consider getting more of an adult cat? But she came from an era that just, like, you get your cats as kittens. And I never have gotten a kitten cat. I've always gotten like an adult cat because that's just how it worked. There is no choice. Every cat that I've had has come my way. I've never gone out looking for a cat. So, yeah.
Same with me with dogs. So I as you know, Greg, I've worked in animal rescue for 15 years, and I continue to support them by doing lectures, fundraising lectures.
Sure.
But all of our dogs are rescues, and we adopted two. Actually, the last two, we adopted them at 10 years old. They came to us from homes that were abandoned. And there are so many senior dogs. I work with dachshund rescues all the time, and they're taking in dogs who are 14 and 15 years old, who only have like a year or a year and a half left in their life. And those dogs really would be a great idea for a senior.
Yep.
At this stage in my life, because I'm old, we're going to continue to adopt seniors and give them the best years of their life. And that's what I recommend.
And that's how I've always felt about all that too, with the cats that one of my other cat, AJ, she was my then mother-in-law, she was moving to Florida and wasn't going to take AJ with, and AJ, she was just like, you guys either take AJ, I'm going to return her to the Humane Society. It's like, absolutely not. No. And another brilliant animal who had given me so much joy, and that that wanted to make sure that she had a good life, because she had been returned to the Humane Society a couple times, and for whatever reason, then I'm never one to declaw a cat. I'm never one to have the fact that if they have like a bathroom problem, that's not going to necessarily stop me either, because all these animals, they're just like humans. They have their own thing that, we're none of us are perfect, but we all want and need love.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because, too often in rescues, I hear people saying, oh, well, my dog is peeing in the house. Well, you're going to do that when you're like 75. Okay. They make diapers for pets.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with the carpet, rip up the carpets in your house. Rip them up. These are children. It infuriates me as somebody who works in rescue and has dogs. We're all going to get old, and as we get older, we're going to revert back to like when we were infants.
Yeah,
it's just the way it works. Love is about caring for someone no matter how sick they are. That's what people take as a vow when they get married, in sickness and in health. Same thing with a pet.
Absolutely. And I'm going to take a break here in a second, but I want to just say that towards the end of Linus's life, he was having bathroom problems. And like you just said, I couldn't imagine it's not about whether or not an animal inconveniences you, because that's not what having those relationships are about. Mm-hmm. It's about, like you said, it's about love. And I got him some pee pads. And we worked through it. Him and I worked through it, actually. Especially worked a lot better when I started to finally put the pee pads the right way down. They were the wrong way for a while. We all enjoyed that, I'm sure. Do you want to end the show with us, Rob? Or you be able to stick around? And
sure. I'll stick. I'm awake this long.
Yeah, we've gone this far. Why don't we go ahead and do it? Sure. So take a break. Anyone who have any comments about what we've been talking about, put it in there, please, on this Linus edition and pet edition of Casual Friday and GhostBox Radio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refinedivinepsychic.com.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And join us Monday on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We had been talking about Midwest Metaparacon that's happening in Eau Claire. That's going to be the 11th, 12th, and 13th. That's next week already. GhostBox Radio is the official podcast for that convention. On Monday, I don't know who we're going to have on the show because we're going to have from anywhere from 2 to 3 guests who are going to be at the Midwest Metaparacon. Heard possibly Patty Negri. I know that Terry, who's putting it on, he's going to be on there. We're going to talk about the convention and also just what they have going on. Once again, that convention is a week from today. It's starting up. We're going to be out in Eau Claire. I think the plan is that we're going to do a live show from there next week. But if you want to go out there to Eau Claire, all you have to do is go to metaparapro.com. There should be a button to hit Midwest Metaparacon, and there you can sign up. There's a code that you could put in, GhostBox, and you'll get 10% off the entry fee. And that would help us a great deal if you are able to do that. So once again, go to metaparapro.com /Midwest Metaparacon and sign up. And we hope to see you out there. If you come out there, please stop by and say hi. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Speaking of a fantastic weekend, this has turned into really something quite exciting, bringing on author and psychic medium Rob Guttrow. We've been talking about, Rob does a lot with pets, not only owning and taking good care of them, but also getting pet spirits come through. And we're talking about how my cat Linus has made himself very well known to Rob. It was really incredible, Rob. And Rob, thank you so very much for taking the time tonight. I know it's late over there, so thank you so much. Oops, sorry. I have you muted. I'm sorry, Rob.
No.
I had you muted. Okay, let's try. Let's take 2. Thank you so very much.
That's what caffeine's all about.
Yeah, right? I mean, my gosh, it's incredible. In the comments, Chuck says, my aunt once had a Chihuahua, and when my kids were young, they kept hearing a dog in the house. When we went to my sister, she had a Chihuahua, and they said that's the dog they heard in the house. So, Chuck, is that a you're talking like had a Chihuahua that was they're hearing a spirit? So I don't know. It's funny. Doug writes, was it Greg or Linus muting Rob? Isn't that funny? I love that. Carrie says, I love this show. And once again, thank you to Rob for taking the time, coming on and talking with us. Don says, what a blessed relationship you guys had. I'm so sorry for your loss. Adam, what do you think of all this?
It makes a ton of sense. But first of all, getting to Linus, I would have swore he would have had a British accent. He would have sounded like a Bond villain. That's how I envision Linus to speak.
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm going to trip you down the stairs, Mr. Bakun.
Yeah, because you would talk about that all the time, and you watch a lot of British television. And I can imagine Linus being curled up next to you on the couch watching said British TV.
I've often wondered what he sounds like because he had the highest pitched meow, and he was just so lovable. And cats, when they do that meow, and sometimes it looks like they're smiling as they meow. I just love it. Rob, before we get too much further down the line here, is there anything coming up that you want to share with us? Anything going on that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I actually have a big appearance coming up, and I'm really honored by this. I'm going to be speaking about pets in the afterlife at the Pennhurst Paracon this year at Pennhurst Asylum in Spring City, Pennsylvania, on May 17th and 18th. So, looking forward to that.
Well, congratulations. I remember seeing that was announced, and I just thought, wow, good for you. And once again, folks, that's Rob is going to be speaking about pets in the afterlife at Pennhurst Paracon this year. It's coming up real fast, isn't it? In Spring City, Pennsylvania, May 17th and 18th. Wow.
Yeah, and what's interesting, Greg, is that so I noticed that people from Ghost Adventures is going to be there, and Ghost Hunters, and Patty Negri, whom you mentioned.
Yep.
Josh Gates is going to be there, and then there's me, little old me, going to be talking about pets in the afterlife. So I'm humbled and honored, and I look forward to meeting everybody.
I'm excited for you. Like we said, we've known each other for a long time now,
Yeah.
and just to see all the books that you've written and the appearances and everything else that you're doing, and you deserve it. I mean, you've been really doing a great job with it all, and and I, for what it's worth, and this is just my opinion, I love the fact that someone like yourself, Rob, you're not pushing it down our throats. You know what I mean? Where there are people who really want to get to the level of being at the Paracons and stuff, and they really push themselves on other people. And that, to me, personally, that's a real annoyance. And I try not to do that myself when I try to be a part of things. And I know that that's not how you advertise, but at the same time, you're just being you, Rob. And that's, people are picking up on that.
Thanks. Yeah, I think this is only the 5th Paracon I've ever been to in my life. So, and I've been doing this 15 years.
Gosh, it's amazing.
I rather, I honestly rather would go to, because I do animal rescue fundraisers where I lecture about how pets communicate. And I love those because people get to share their experiences, their own experiences, which help other people heal in the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. And Rob, Chuck clarified, maybe I just wasn't really, my aunt's dog has long since passed, the Chihuahua. That's why he was hearing a spirit. They were hearing a spirit dog. Let's see. Carrie says, I will never get over the loss of my pets. I mean, I hope, and I don't mean to hope not to be speaking out there. I hope you get over it in a sense that we're able to continue, but we just never forget. Right. I mean, that's kind of how I see it. I mean, I am not over the death of Linus. That is still very raw for me. But, getting to the point of just being so happy that I had that time with him is how I see it.
Yeah. And he's a spirit guide now.
Spirit guide now.
And Greg, honestly, so my heart dog was Dolly, and she passed October 22nd, 2020. And when she passed, even though I'm a medium and a pet medium, when she passed, I didn't want to talk to anybody for a month, really.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want anything to do with it. But Dolly was very adamant about coming through, just like Linus came through to me on vacation. And every single day, I kid you not, since October 22nd, 2020, I have seen repeating numbers from Dolly. And I know they're from her. The exception are 222s, which came from Buzz because he passed on February 22nd.
Yeah. Wow.
But
I love it.
It's amazing what they can do.
It's amazing what they can do. And it's amazing that, you always like to think that you have a special bond with your animal. And then when you realize that you were right, you were absolutely right. You have that. And now they're letting you know that just how much so that you did. That's fantastic. Real fast, as a you're former meteorologist, right?
Yes.
You don't do it anymore.
I retired. I'm happy.
You retired. But so you had just missed. You were just in Kentucky, and we have about 2.5 minutes left. You're just in Kentucky. Now Kentucky is being, so many tornadoes, so much weather. I mean, do you kind of wish that maybe you could have experienced some of that when you're up there?
Heck no.
I'm all about that. I used to storm chase, so I'd be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no, I'm one of the guys that like to sit behind the radar like a couple hundred miles away.
But you warn people and you keep them safe.
Yes.
And I've
been doing that for 30 years.
Right. Doug says my wife is driving and I'm watching, and a car with the license plate 111 just passed by. So Perfect. There you go. Very much so. As we're wrapping up here, Rob, how can people find you?
They can find me at robgutro.com or petspirits.com, and that has links to all my social media. I love questions. There's information about how to get a pet reading and all kinds of stuff. So thank you, Greg. I'm so happy to have joined you tonight.
I am so happy that you were able to join me. I'm so happy that, especially so last minute, and I cannot thank you enough for putting a heart at rest when you had sent all that stuff over. It's you know, I miss him every day. I tell him, as I said at Ghost Stories on Wednesday, I'll walk into the house and I'll just acknowledge him as I would if I could see him, and say his name and go to the spots that he would always stop at and say hello, and it helps me as well. So it's very much it's a process, but I've never had an experience like this where he has been so persistent, and I love that. I absolutely love that. So thank you for that. That was a gift. That was truly a gift to me. So yeah, I don't know. There we go. I mean, it's almost like I don't know where to go from here. but you real fast. Are you working on any books?
Oh gosh, yeah, I'm working on my 13th book. I just published Haunting of Emery Estate, as you know.
Yep.
Working on a book about a haunted library investigation I did, and I just scheduled out all of my books coming up. I have 8 more in the queue after that.
Well, that means, Rob, we're going to have you on a number of times. So let me know when
Awesome.
you're ready to come on. We'll get you on. Folks, thank you so much for indulging me tonight. I really appreciate it. We'll be back Monday with some other guests for the Meta Paracon. Everyone, have a fantastic week. Adam, thank you for everything as always. Rob, thank you. We'll see you Monday.
Hey, Minnesota, it's Brad Friedman.